welcome to another edition of Block Talk. As always, we're your hosts, Crypto Nikolai and Crypto Foxtrot.
What up, what up, what up? What's up, what's up, what's up? BitConnect!
It's BitConnect time. Man, oh man, is it ever BitConnect time. And look at those sweet, sweet threads on that BitConnect shirt.
What better support could you give to a dead project? This is, in memoriam, BitConnect, final nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Yeah. We're dropping a rip in the chat.
Yeah, you know it, man. We got to.
Rip BitConnect. And, it's a day where I think the spirit of BitConnect, has gone on to inspire bigger and better things because the markets today are looking quite
nice. Oh, my God. Despite all the red we saw, just the slow bleeding out in the market over the last few days, such a relief to see so much green, even some double-digit gains here and there. So much better. Yeah. I was definitely worried. I always said, once Ether dips below like $200, that's where I start worrying a little bit.
Yeah.
So I was worried. I was worried a little bit, but it's good to see everything kind of bouncing back. Bitcoin over 6.5, Ether back over 200, albeit just a tad bit. That can change at any moment. But yeah, I'm happy about it.
Yeah, I mean, happy is an understatement. I think everyone is ecstatic about the fact that we're seeing some reversal. I think you're right, and I think there were a lot of people out there who had that fear about Ether just dipping and dipping and dipping.
Yeah.
The mood was so negative, but someone stepped in and decided to get the ball rolling and buy quite a bit of Ether.
Oh yeah.
We can check and see the the volume that was pumped there in terms of the Ether buying that happened earlier today.
Oh yeah.
So we see nice volume here, just a lot of buying.
Right around 8 a.m.
This is the 9 a.m. candle, and 75,000 Ether.
That's nice. Yeah, I mean, lots of ups and downs here lately. Makes for some great swing trading if you're into that sort of risk. But I know that's where my head's at. I'm gonna try and capitalize on some of these swings. Make a few sats or gwei or whatever I can get here and there. So yeah, I mean everything's coming back. I'm super stoked about it. Yeah, that's it's a great relief to see, especially after the last few days where everything was just kind of bleeding in the streets. So yeah, good stuff. Really good stuff.
Really, this is all since just recently overnight. There was really some nice movement there, and we're very fortunate for it. Really, over a 2 day. 2 days ago we hit the dip, and then we've had incremental movement up there, and I think it remains to be seen if this is just temporary.
Yeah.
These kind of numbers are high, but what we normally see is a scale back. So what'll happen is that these gains are not sustainable.
No. I mean,
so when you look at like USDT Ether, okay, it's gained quite a bit.
Oh yeah, it's been riding the overbuy line on the Bollinger Band for quite some time, so there is going to be a correction. It's inevitable. Yeah, it's a perfectly normal market cycle, market activity. So we're not going to be able to ride these Bollinger Bands for much longer. So it might be a good idea to figure out where to put in some healthy stop limits. Just go ahead and take your profits while you can.
Yeah.
Wait for the dip and then use those profits to buy more.
Perfect example. I decided to get in sub 5 on EOS, and then sold this pump here.
Okay.
And so then I was like, well, it's probably just going to level out. We probably won't have. I
Push
mean,
sideways. Yeah.
that
'Cause
was
I
like
mean,
that was like a huge, you
yeah,
know,
yeah. I mean, it's so hard to say like what it's going to do, especially once it punches through the overbuy line,
yeah,
because like at that point, correction is imminent. That's sort of like that's where the warning
yeah.
klaxon starts playing in my head.
I mean, most of the time you get a standard one pump,
Yep.
a single pump surge, and that's what we see on this side on the MACD. It's just a simple hill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then when you have the double layers, that's where you see a slowdown in the slope here, and then another big positive jump. It's fairly rare.
Yeah, and it's super hard to catch too. I mean, because by all accounts, here that first pump, like that would have been a safe exit for me. Like
Yeah.
I would have played that same play as well.
Yeah.
There's really no way to know that the next three candles are going to be positive pumps back up. Because it's that sort of market motion is just so rare and it's super hard to detect.
Yeah.
So kudos on you for playing that right. That second pump was totally
this was the first
unforeseeable.
pump here.
Yeah, perfect example.
And I got in. I decided I wanted to buy back in, so
Yeah.
I got in somewhere along this pump because it was happening fast.
So the FOMO was
It was somewhere
was
in
real.
this candle. I think it was one of these two candles, basically right around here. I got back
Again,
in.
I mean, that's a super safe entry. I mean,
I got in here because it was narrowing, and
Yeah.
so I was like, okay, we're gonna pump, and then I got nervous. No, I set a stop loss, and the stop loss was just way too shallow. I mean, it was like it wasn't even under my entry point. It was under where it was now.
Okay.
So it was like just a way to guarantee that I maintained my stack.
Sure.
And I wanted to know what your
That's a safe play.
Yeah. So do you think that that's worth it? I mean, do you think that that kind of play? We see here with the benefit of hindsight that it did pump later
Yeah.
on.
Absolutely. And
But
hindsight's an exact science. That's the problem. See, usually, I I'm a little wary on catching things mid pump, because based on the previous Bollinger Band explosion, we'll just call it here.
yeah,
That to me says reversal or correction is almost imminent.
yeah,
And buying in that moment, who knows what the next candle is going to look like. It could either, it could dump way down. I mean, you could get a super deep candle as it corrects. It could push sideways.
yeah.
Or, in this case, it continued going up. So.
I love what you just said
Which
because
part?
I think about candle prediction.
Okay.
I think that is a huge tool that I didn't even think about before, but it's graphical and it just makes so much sense for visual people out there.
Yeah, because I've actually spoken with a few people who are they're traders on Robinhood, but they're not very comfortable in reading a graph, and that's partly caused by some traders may have dyslexia or dysgraphia. They can't read letters and number combinations like everybody else would.
Yeah.
And me having dyspraxia, like sometimes information just doesn't sync up correctly.
Interesting.
And I've found that having these graphical representations of the chart, especially on the advanced view on Binance, helps a ton.
Yeah.
Because being able to see concrete information, especially on the 1 minute candle where it's almost in real time, that is a big help to me.
Yeah.
Because sometimes looking at the order book, just numbers, they just get all quashed together, and it's like, what the hell am I even looking at anymore?
Yeah.
Especially with how fast the order book moves, and orders get moved around and sold and bought. So having a really interactive graph with all these different tools that you can use has proven to be such a big help.
Yeah, and that's a great point. And I think kind of getting back to how you can use those colors,
Yeah.
and those terms. I mean, you mentioned briefly kind of indicators.
Hmm.
So do you think that these are do you think that these Bollinger Bands are pretty clear on good entry and exit points?
Um, the Bollinger Bands, yes. They sometimes they can be pretty tricky in timing and entrance. But setting everything back to like the 1 or 5 minute candle for swing trading, day trading, just scalping profits here and there. The Bollinger Band as well, coupled with the MACD indicator, can be a huge help because
So
the Bollinger Bands will give you a little bit of historic data
yeah,
with the two standard deviations away from the current price, and the MACD will show the waves of volume and everything as it comes and goes.
uh,
Who's this?
Apache Tom Tom says he has much to learn, but am happy to be on there and to get to know people. Well,
Oh well, welcome. You landed in the right place.
yeah,
We're here to answer any and all of your questions. We'd love to hear any of them. Ultimately, that's our goal. Our goal. There we go. To get everybody on the same page as far as trading goes.
yeah,
So we're glad to have you. We'd be glad to discuss anything with you. We'd also really appreciate it if you hit that follow button up there. That helps us out a lot. It helps us continue bringing quality content to you guys.
yeah, absolutely, definitely. Smash that follow button there.
You won't be disappointed, I
Um,
promise.
Now we wanted to just show a couple indicators that you can look for when you're trading. So
Yeah.
here, um, you know, prior to this, monstrous jump earlier today. So these are 5 minute candles. So
Mm-hmm.
this is really 30 minutes ago. You know.
Yeah.
So prior to that, things were pretty flat. We had
Yeah. I mean, over the last few days, I mean, if it wasn't going down, it was pushing sideways.
like look at this volume, right? Just
Super, super subpar volume. Just
super
nobody
low,
trading.
low volume, and then a nice little spike here. But that ultimately was just a big, probably just a big sell wall that got chewed through.
Yeah.
And then same, a little bit here, some pumps and volume, but then
And there, it just kind of skyrocketed. And and speaking of these indicators,
411k,
how many?
411k
Mm.
EOS purchased during that time.
That using the Bollinger Band, that indicator and that big of a jump in price punching through the overbuy line like that to me just screams get out to protect your profit. I mean, don't get me wrong, from where it was pushing sideways and jumping up, even if you were to sell 20, 30, 45 minutes later, uh, you'd still be well in the profit zone, especially if you bought during the sideways push. But in keeping with maximizing your profits, it's definitely a good idea to keep that Bollinger Band well in sight and use your MACD indicator too, because you'll see the trends in volume and momentum. Um, so use your tools. That's what they're there for. Um,
Yeah.
Not using tools during trading is you're seriously handicapping yourself.
Yeah, and people may not just know how to apply that information. So,
That's true.
you know,
But fortunately, there are tons and tons and tons of uh, educational tutorials.
hmm
Investopedia.
yeah.
They're a really good resource to have in learning what these indicators and tools do. Um, there are still tools that I don't understand how to fully utilize.
Oh, absolutely.
So we're still learning. I've only been in the crypto space for about a year and a half, 2 years now. We've been in it about the same amount of time. Um, so we're still learning a lot. And that's the great thing about being able to sit here and deliver content to everybody is it puts us in a position to where we have to learn more in order to be able to teach more. So constantly learning, that's the important bit,
That's right.
and a
And
willingness to learn.
yeah, just being open to, trying something new, I
Yeah.
think, is a good way to think about it because you're not going to be able to learn every indicator at once.
No, no, no.
So try picking one, and
Yep.
then so we talked about the Bollinger Band. So that's these spread out yellow lines around that show a standard deviation away based off of the past moving average. And
Mm-hmm.
as that moves, you have just standard deviations away. It narrows when there's low activity and blossoms out when there's high activity. So you can see when it's narrowing, activity is cooling down. So it could be a good time to buy in at that point.
Yeah.
And so then when it spreads out, it's dangerous, to buy along this curve because you don't know if you're going to be at the end of the pump,
Yeah.
the middle of the pump, or the bottom of the pump.
So yeah, that buying along the upswing, that's where you're really going to have to start predicting what your next candle is going to look like. Um, and that can be really, really hard to do. But again, having these tools, if you use them to the best you can and use them to your advantage,
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
protect yourself.
So I just want to throw this out there. We talked about candle predicting.
Yeah.
If we break this down, I'm going to call this the rule of three.
3 green candles.
3 green candles and you're out.
I mean, yeah, you've got 1, 2, 3.
This candle would have got you
1, 2,
from
3.
here to here. This, buying this green candle, taking it up would have got you here.
Yep, 1, 2, 3.
This spiked all the way up here to 550, so you could have gotten out anywhere in that
That's right,
range.
yeah. The rule of 3.
So we're gonna see if this holds.
We can call it the Nikolai rule.
Rule of Ein, 2, 3 for German, or what have you. But I think that in times of pump, there's fatigue. There's buyer fatigue that sets in.
Yeah.
And so you get into a situation where the market is only going to support so many buys.
Yeah, because in these pumps you see here, there are going to be traders watching this pump happen. And so what I would imagine happens is there's going to be a lot of people whose buy order didn't get filled, so they're going to little southern twang came out there.
Yeah.
Their buy orders didn't get filled, so they're having to move them around. They're going to miss their entries, and there's a little bit of panic that sets in during these pumps, and then that's where we start running into fatigue. People not being able to get their order in, just saying screw it.
Yeah.
And then it just runs out of steam.
Yeah. And so ideal buy point for the second buy-in would have been around 527, 528,
Yeah.
low 528s. So just keep an eye out. We may be this may just be a reaction to the extremely low prices, the perceived low prices.
Mm-hmm.
We have our business partner and of course Fred recently told us that he put in at some of the lower end of Ether trying to buy that dip, and he did quite well. Even at 186, and then so
kudos to that.
Buying anywhere down in here.
Ooh, those gains though.
Mm.
Congratulations on making that play.
Solid idea there. And the thing about getting into the the what ifs and the I should haves, and how do you get through that? Well, at the end of the day, you can only move forward, and you can learn from the past mistakes that you make, and that's how you're going to have to get through it.
Yeah, and sometimes it is a tough pill to swallow. Missing out on some of these pumps and not making your trades as you should have, making or playing them smarter or not playing a trade at all is sometimes an option. it can be tough to digest sometimes. But that's just kind of the market that we're in. It's an ever evolving
Mm-hmm.
beast that is slowly changing and evolving. And I've said it before. We're very much in the wild west
Yeah.
of crypto trading and everything. So everybody else, not just you or me or anybody, we're all in this together, and we're all trying to, you know, learn what this animal is doing. So there is going to be pronounced moments of frustration. I've had them. Everybody does. It's no secret that the pink levels rising is a real thing.
It indeed it is, and I was feeling some of that this past evening. For a couple reasons. I would just warn people against prolong time in the EOS dice game because that can be quite painful.
Yes, yes.
Mm.
But it's a gamble. It is. I mean, at the
Yeah.
end of the day, it is a gamble. It's not 100% winnable.
Well, I was up,
Yeah,
and I should have walked away. I had my system,
yeah. I mean, I was up as well, and I incurred a in the grand scheme of things, a relatively small loss.
but percentage-wise, every bit hurts.
Yes, if you break things down and put them on a long enough timeline and put them in terms of percentage,
Mm-hmm.
yes, it does hurt. But that's where you come to the fork in the road. Do you take the left or you take the red pill or the blue pill? You take the
Yeah.
red pill. Do you remain pissed about it? And just don't take that as a teachable opportunity. Or you take the blue pill, learn from it, overcome and adapt.
Learn, overcome, and adapt.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Bear Grylls, baby. I always I'll maybe take a bite out of the red pill, get a little angry about it, but ultimately, just take the red pill or the
Well,
blue pill rather.
I'll take that pill. But sometimes the pill bites back. But anyway,
Yeah,
we
just
are.
choke on it a little bit.
Yeah. Now there was a really great YouTube video we were discussing in our Discord.
Yes.
And so that was a really nice kind of view of a lucky group of individuals who got to go out on a cruise.
Yeah, with all sorts of major blockchain and cryptocurrency figures.
Yeah, so it was I'm sure it was invite only, and
No, you could buy
you know,
tickets to go to on the
oh
cruise.
okay,
Yeah,
but
they were
they
expensive.
were pretty steep
I
tickets
want to say
then.
around 1,500 euro
Okay.
for a ticket.
And so folks, got to hear, Roger Ver,
In
um,
all his glory.
live and unfiltered.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know some of our, past, viewers and they've heard me, talk about Roger Ver, the shitcoin prince,
Mm-hmm.
um, the guy who kind of inherited his position with Bitcoin Cash. Um, don't get me wrong, he's a very smart guy, but good lord, is he a child? Like he doesn't know when to stop. He doesn't know when to keep his mouth shut and just walk away. Um, and watching this YouTube video, it was a debate between Jimmy Song and Roger Ver on the central topic of the debate was is Bitcoin Cash ultimately a fiat currency?
Right.
Um, and so Jimmy Song, in opening the debate, he was reading over some of the rules and guidelines of the debate. And in typical Roger Ver fashion, he hops up, tries to grab the microphone from Jimmy, and insert his opinion into what the rules should be, and sort of bend the rules to his will.
Yeah.
Typical tantrum, typical Roger Ver behavior. Um,
Yeah.
But ultimately throughout the debate, he did gain a lot of solid ground in terms of defending Bitcoin Cash and its viability as a cryptocurrency rather than a fiat currency, as Jimmy Song aptly named it. The problem I had with Jimmy Song's points that he was making and sort of the way he structured his points, um, it essentially felt like he was just reading from the Medium article that he wrote.
Yeah, I think that he had notes,
Yeah.
and then he brought the notes to the cruise,
Mm-hmm.
and then he took those notes and wrote the Medium article.
Yeah. It just felt cold. Like there was no sort of passion in his argument or anything. Because I mean, essentially, he stood up there at the podium with his head down in his notes the whole time. Um, it just didn't really capture me. It didn't
Well,
captivate me.
the Jimmy Song camp would say that he was very, you know, calm and
Calm,
unemotional,
calm, yes.
and
Unemotional, yes. Stoic,
very stoic and just trying to get information out there. And he said, "More Supreme Court, less Jerry Springer."
Yes. And now I'll give him props on that. In spite of Roger Ver behaving the way he usually does, he did remain very calm,
Mm-hmm.
very composed. Despite his behavior, but there's the forum that they were in isn't one of let's get information out there. Like this is a debate. They're there to argue points on a central topic, and I don't think Jimmy Song really did that. It just kind of felt like he was picking parts of his Medium article and just kind of using those as ammo against Roger Ver. And
Yeah,
it just didn't work, I don't think.
he had talking points. What he lacked was an ability to make an appeal to, the audience for some
Yeah.
kind of argument. I mean, he had the stats. He had, I would say, and not an unreasonable argument against Bitcoin Cash just being deleted from Reddit and stuff. I think that's kind of up each individual subreddit and its moderating team and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. They have the choice of what kind of content they want to have, and if they don't want to support a Bitcoin fork, which is what Bitcoin Cash is,
Yeah.
then there's no reason why they should have to. I'm kind of an more information is more empowering kind of
Yeah.
guy. I don't think information should be necessarily withheld from people, but
I'll agree with that.
that kind
And
of
that was one point that Roger Ver made. Censorship is essentially a bad thing. You're gagging what people can do, what people can say.
yeah.
Um, and it was very interesting to see Roger Ver, who is arguably one of the most hated people
Maybe I'm
in
not crazy,
cryptocurrency.
bro.
Hey,
Maybe
cool,
I'm
man.
not crazy. I
um,
wanted to buy an opportunity here, and boy, did I get it.
but about
Yes.
the debate, at the end of the debate, it was interesting to see how Roger Ver, like I said, arguably being one of the most hated people in crypto,
Yeah.
um, he received much more of an applause than Jimmy Song did at the end. So, did he win some people over in his argument? Who knows? There was there was actually some rather questionable statements that he made. One of which I had to go back and sort of re-listen to make sure I was hearing everything right. But he was
Oh, right. The white powder versus
yes,
white power incident.
yes.
Yeah.
So there's a portion of one of the points that he was making. He was saying, I'm tired of seeing people get locked up um, for having just a simple plant um, that makes them happy. And then the second part of that statement, what I initially heard was, why should people be locked up for having the white power that makes them happy? And I was like, I had to pump the brakes on that. I was like, whoa, 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 hang on a minute. Like, are we just now learning that Roger Ver is a white supremacist? Is white supremacy confirmed with Roger Ver? But upon further inspection and a couple subsequent listens to that statement, Um, what he ended up actually saying was uh, having the white powder that makes them happy.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, to some, that could be a loosely um, a loose sort of nod that maybe he advocates cocaine usage without punishment. But I'll leave that up for debate among other people. Um, that's I'm just here to deliver the news. So do with that information what you will. But he did say it, so that's where that is. Um, so what else is what's some other good stuff that's happened? Um, oh yeah, the Genesis Vision token was actually launched on Binance not too long ago, and it was pumping like crazy during what seemed to be a downtrend in the market, as we can see here. It kind of took the path of the Dogecoin and just kind of turned its nose up at everything and said, well, everything's going down. I'm just going to keep on going up. It's not unusual to see this kind of growth. Um,
But the timing of it is unusual.
The timing is unusual, yes.
Bitcoin and the big altcoins all just tanking. Everyone's getting worried. No one, smart people are buying.
Mm-hmm.
Weak hands are selling. And then what's blowing up? GVT. GVT, BTC.
I think what kind of happened here is while everything was going on its way down, GVT was just getting listed here on Binance. So, anybody who could have been watching this is like, this might be a safe bet. It's heading down. Let's try and scoop it up as cheap as we can, and try to bank it on the.
Where at? You mean
on the
here?
uptrend? Oh, I mean, like if back here, like if you go way back to like when it was just getting listed not too long ago. It was either, I want to say it was just being listed or like they just revealed like some big bit of info. Apparently it's been on Binance for a while. But for whatever reason, it just pumped like crazy.
Mid-August, it reached its bottom and then kind of did a holding pattern. And about a week later, started this crazy rise. GVT, man.
I'm not 100% sure on what GVT does. I do know it stands for Genesis Vision Token.
Is that the one that had the exchanges?
It had something to do with like risk management or something like that.
Okay.
That's what I gathered out of their website. So if that's something that may or may not interest you, it might be worth checking out, see what kind of new tech is coming up around the corner.
Well,
I would recommend it.
I don't know if I'd recommend buying this dip necessarily.
No, definitely not.
This is painful.
Yeah.
You don't know where this is going to end.
No.
So if you buy this dip thinking it's going to shoot up to the moon like it did over here,
you might have a bad time.
GVT might have run its course.
Yeah. I think all the market action that was happening over the course of the last few days, people are locking in their profits and just trying to dump out as soon as they can to protect those profits, and that amount of selling typically prompts a downtrend, which is one of the arguments that I heard made about the reason why Ether dipped so steeply, and you mentioned it briefly in the last stream when I wasn't able to be here.
With the ICO selling off?
Yeah, the ICOs taking their Ether that they have raised during the fundraising and everything, and then selling that so they have some liquidity and working capital to develop their projects and what have you. So that may or may not have been a reason why Ether dipped as steeply as it did. It's a strong case. That amount of selling.
I mean, there was just a combination of things.
Sure.
ICO selling, Vitalik's own negative outlook on social media.
Yeah.
Which
he went back and clarified. something about that in a sort of quasi debate. We might actually be able to pull up the article and show you.
Are you talking about with Josh Lubin?
No, like he there was some sort of like debate that was sparked on Twitter about the comment that he made saying that the crypto market just doesn't have another 1,000% gain.
Yeah, we're at the end of the bubble market, you know. Yeah.
And then somebody questioned him on it, and then he actually went back and said like, "Whoa, like that, you're reading in between the lines here. I didn't ultimately mean this. I'm not saying it can't happen, but you know, it's not going to be as often as it was in the last few years." The good old non-giver, God King. I don't exactly remember who it was that he was having the back and forth with. It was some crypto news source that sort of called him out on it. I'll have to find it and I'll post it on our social media so that everybody will be able to see his words and not mine. So, oh yeah, good old Lehman Brothers, or Lehman.
Yeah, 10 years since the 2008 financial crisis.
Yeah, that was the housing market collapse, as we saw in the wonderful film The Big Short.
This is an interesting one from September 11th. Obviously, let's be realistic. The entire world's wealth is not going to turn into cryptocurrencies.
Mm-hmm.
Vitalik's a pessimist. Oh, sell. My. Dump, dump, dump.
Yeah, exclamation, exclamation, 1111. You know, like, that's not... yeah, he's not saying that we've reached the end of...
Sounds good, Apache. He says he'll be back.
Excellent.
You can always catch our VODs on Facebook or on our YouTube page as well.
Yeah, we always post the...
We get them up same day, so you can come back later and watch them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you're incentivizing people to act more like Justin's son from Tron.
Yeah. And I don't want to sit here and read throughout all this. I'll sift through it later. But, you know, it's... The entire world wealth isn't just, you know, going to magically...
Dude, are you seeing this guy's, like, book he's saying to be tearing?
Who's this clown?
I mean, he's an artist.
He's an artist.
They want to push humanity into space and plan to mine asteroids. Ooh, this is getting spicy.
Before you or I are old men, mankind will be off of this rock, starting our galactic expansion, our measly 70 trillion global economy. What is this guy even talking about?
He keeps going.
This guy has way too much time. Anyway,
man, Twitter is like a black hole, bro. Like you can like get on there and just start reading one thread, and then you find one person, you go to his page, you find out what he's been.
You go down the rabbit hole,
and he found something else, and then boom.
Yeah, no, I mean that. Whatever that guy was about, obviously didn't really have much to do with blockchain or crypto. It was more about pushing civilization into space. Probably where his brain is at with all the acid he's done. But, you know, he's entitled to his opinion.
So I realized that the argument that there's no value for Ether in Ethereum as of today is even wronger than I thought.
Yeah, and that was sort of an argument made by, what's his name? Joseph Lubin, saying that, you know, Ether will inevitably fall to $0. and that
Right.
miners should be paid gas or transaction fees in some random shit coin. Um, that is a terrible idea. And this is all supposed to be a part of the Ethereum improvement protocol or project. That doesn't sound like an improvement to me. That sounds like a step backwards.
Yeah.
Because you're setting up these miners to potentially end up in a position to where the shitcoin they were paid gas in could ultimately be worthless. So all the work that they're putting into the system could potentially end up being for naught. And as somebody who's done some mining in the past, and our business partner being a miner, I would have a very, very big problem with that. And if these kind of improvements are made to Ethereum, it might be time to start looking at other things to mine, at least in the meantime, before Ethereum switches over to proof of stake.
Yeah, and some mining pools have said that there's going to be a change in how mining is going to work. It's going to
Right.
be kind of like lending, and I hate to use that word because of association with BitConnect.
What's up? What's up?
Um,
It's not a scam.
it actually says found at a thrift store on the back.
Yes, it does. I found this shirt at a thrift store.
You know,
Um,
which is
but-
how we roll here. This is hipster block talk.
Yeah, but joke's on you because this shirt's going to be worth a fortune one day.
Yeah.
Just like BitConnect was in all of its glory.
BitConnect, get wrecked. So, anyway, I hate to use the word lending, but
Yeah.
essentially, and from what I understand, and I have to do a little bit more research on this myself, the mining pools will, still need
Yeah.
the hash rate. I'm not sure what for, but they'll use it for something.
See, in a proof of stake system, you have nodes that are the ones responsible for processing transactions. That
Yeah.
there are some similarities between proof of work and proof of stake in the ways that they process these.
Now, do you know if you can just submit your hash power in general to a mining pool and then they assign it to mining something else? Or do you, because I know that you mine a coin, but when you do, like Ant Pool has multiple coins that you can buy.
Yeah, and
But
really it depends on your setup because there are ASICs that are coded strictly for mining Ethereum. There are ASICs that are strictly coded for mining Bitcoin.
Okay.
So it depends on the console that you're using and how it's coded.
Yeah.
Plus, you have to have the blockchain. If you're running a node, you'll have to download the entire blockchain onto your device in order to see the history of transactions, so on and so forth. But no, in terms of mining, and determining what kind of coins you can mine, I think that would probably be a better question for our resident mining aficionado, Mr. Tommy D.
Yeah, we'll kind of discuss that in more detail with him. We're working on a project
Yes.
right now that we'll have more details about soon. But it is a very ambitious mining project, and with
cutting edge
with a
too.
little working capital, we might be able to actually get some really powerful mining operations going.
This is one of those mining procedures that not very many people have pursued.
Yep, it's very new and it's very low power.
Very low power,
so
super high hash rates.
You can use this even with ASICs, which are traditionally high power, because it's much more efficient in how it allocates the resources. So
right.
We're hoping that this will work out, but still have some discussion.
Yeah, time will tell.
Work on it.
I think it'll be a great thing to pursue. It'll be a win-win for everybody involved. So really, right now we're just fleshing out the details. So hopefully we'll get the ball rolling on that soon. I'm hopeful about it. Another bit. Good Lord, I didn't realize how hideous their website is.
I like that landing page. So I just wanted to check out something called Cash App.
Yeah,
This is a landing page.
it is hideous.
It really
It is
is
just a
marketed at women because this is way too much color, just too much popping out.
like I'm just see there goes the pumpkin spice latte, just kind of floating off there. But anyway, uh, as most of you may know, Cash App is a very popular mobile cash transaction app that a lot of people use. Um, I can't remember exactly how many people use it, but I know it's a very substantial number. It's very easy to use, and I recently found out that Cash App has recently integrated um, Bitcoin transactions as a means of, you know, paying for things.
It's very popular in France.
I'm sure. Yeah. See, by country. Okay. Yeah. That's great. I mean, a lot of people use it because it's so easy and it's very seamless. And if I'm not mistaken, um, if you, as
It's
you know,
actually huge in the U.S. though.
nice,
Google Play.
good stats there. About Cash App, if I'm not mistaken, if let's say I want to send you $100 for, you know, whatever. I lost a bet. I owe
Yeah.
you $100. So I have, $100 worth of Bitcoin, Satoshis. But you aren't you're not a crypto investor. You have no interest in it. But, I may not have $100 cash in my app, stored in my app, but I have $100 worth of Bitcoin. So I'm going to send that to you. That's it. Like it'll automatically exchange it to its current, USD, trading rate, and then deposit cash into you while taking the Bitcoin equivalent value away from me. So I think that's good having that quick, seamless transaction between Bitcoin to US dollars for people who don't use crypto. I think that's a great sort of push in the right direction in terms of exposing people to it because a
Yeah.
lot of people are going to be curious. What's this Bitcoin thing over here? Um,
Yep. Digital currency, store of wealth,
yep.
potentially gains value over time. Can be
Mm-hmm.
used to exchange into many other altcoins. Can transfer around the world. Is
Yeah.
accepted at
Absolutely.
different ATMs. It's very decentralized. You can take it with you,
Yeah.
and on and on and on. So there's definitely a lot of advantages to it. You could also take that Bitcoin and buy Bcash
Mm-hmm.
if you really wanted to.
Yeah. According to Roger Ver, Bitcoin Cash is the real Bitcoin. It's what Bitcoin should have been, and the current uh, understood Bitcoin is a deviation away from its intended usage. Um, so that's up to interpretation. Um, form your own opinions, do your own research, and
Always.
see where you land with it.
Always.
Um, I believe that Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash operate independently of each other. Both have their own intended usages. Like you said, Bitcoin being a long-term store of wealth in hopes of making profits on it. Bitcoin Cash being the more viable for the transactional processes. Um, it's a lot quicker than Bitcoin is, and if I wanted to go to Starbucks and pay for my uh, grande frappe al pacino cappuccino um, with Bitcoin, I damn sure wouldn't want to sit there and wait 45 minutes for confirmations. Bitcoin Cash being a lot faster in terms of getting those confirmations. So there's an argument to be made for both of them. So really, it's just kind of up to you uh, where you or how you view it. Um, let y'all make those assessments and decisions on your own. But that's where I'm at with it. And I'm glad you pulled this up here because I found this last night as I was trolling
Yeah.
Twitter. There's actually another blockchain based game that's been announced to be released. This is Nine Lives Arena.
Mm-hmm.
It is it's an online RPG with a focus on one versus one, player versus player arena style battle. So just imagine you and another player in an arena, just bashing each other with swords and maces and battle axes,
Right.
casting spells.
Right.
So I think there's a lot of hype that's being generated around this. It's currently in fundraising right now on Kickstarter, and they are actually they just went over their fundraising budget. When I looked at it last night, they were only at like $25,000. So just in the few hours between the time I looked at it last night to now, they've gone over their fundraising cap, which is excellent.
Yeah, I love it. So the stuff you get in games on the blockchain somehow.
Yeah. So you have just like in Cryptic Conjure, you have items, or on Cryptic Conjure it's mostly spells that are sort of stored on the blockchain,
Mm-hmm.
and the more that they're traded, the less powerful they get as a traded asset. With Nine Lives Arena, I believe it's very similar on how items are stored on the blockchain, but in the case of Nine Lives, it's more of like your items, your swords, armor, so on and so forth. So they actually become, tradable commodities for other items, or if you decide the game isn't for you, or you just run out of time and don't have the time to play it, you can sell all of your gear and make some money back, or some trading capital. So yeah, it's very interesting. It's slated for release in November of 2019, so a little over a year from now. But from the demo video that I've seen, it looks great. It's very clean, and I'm super stoked to hear more about this game as it sort of or is in the release process over the next year. Hopefully they'll put out a sort of like working beta copy of it, just to give people an opportunity to sort of see what the game's all about. So we'll be keeping an eye on that as more is released about it.
Yeah. Do you know if a playable demo is on mobile yet?
I don't think there are any.
There's a companion app on mobile.
Yeah, the companion app is very interesting, because there's a process within the game where you can utilize the companion app, and it'll sort of like run everything for you in the background, like while you sleep or while you're at work.
Tamagotchi on steroids.
Yes, exactly. This is what Tamagotchi would have been, 20 years ago, but we're in 3018 now, where Tamagotchis are actually working for us, and we're not having to wait on them to let us know that they're hungry. So yeah, definitely going to be keeping an eye on this. If this is a project you think you'd be interested in, there's certainly still accepting fundraising for it, and they have different levels of rewards.
Yeah, the art looks beautiful.
Definitely. Excuse me.
You get your Oogie, and so
the Oogie, yeah.
This is your little NPC that does tasks for you.
Yeah.
Takes out some of the grind. They said you can get to max level in a matter of hours.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun to play next year, so I'm looking forward to it. But I'm definitely going to be
So this is an example. Basically, what makes this game have its allure for collectors is that the gear has different levels of rarity, and some of it is extremely rare that can transfer between games.
Yeah, that will be very, very interesting.
These are extremely rare items the player can transfer into 7 different games. The Epichrome sword is limited to 1,500. 9 Lives Arena will never distribute any more beyond that number.
Mike the Hung Overlord, limited to 1,200. The Multiverse Forge Hammer, 600. So we're just getting more and more rare here. Ooh.
Stretch goals.
You ready to take some lives?
Yeah, so it's definitely up and coming, and so we definitely want to always keep you abreast of all the latest in terms of Ethereum and blockchain gaming.
Yeah, it
You
seems
know,
like there's a new game being announced, that's going to be on the blockchain about every other week.
yeah,
It seems like. So,
yep,
we're slowly stepping into the future of gaming here, in terms of, gaming with microtransactions, um, which EA is known for. Uh,
blue boxes, baby.
oh yeah, oh yeah. Tell me about it.
So yeah, so that's kind of an issue that comes up in modern gaming. But what's nice about the blockchain games is that you have items that you can move around. There's a
Yeah.
keyword, and it creates a rarity. You know this item is rare. You know it's not duped. You know it's not
Yep.
Something like that. And
It's
there's
not
a
a cheap
limited
forgery or
and there's
anything.
there's a limited number of them. So once they're all gone, they're all gone.
Mm-hmm.
So that injects scarcity, which I think a lot of games, if you look at traditional MMOs, they don't really have scarcity because everyone can just keep running the dungeon and getting the drop. I mean, eventually you're going to get it. The odds are, if you keep rolling those dice, pardon the pun, my sweet daddy Os, but
Oh my god.
if you roll the dice, then you can you might win.
Yeah.
You know.
So I mean, yeah, that's sort of what separates these, blockchain-based, RPGs from your traditional RPGs, where just about anybody can go in, put in the grind, run through the dungeons, and get the gear. So I mean,
Yeah.
there's, like you said, there is no scarcity whatsoever. But introducing the scarcity into the sort of an in-game economy where these items actually have assigned value, being able to trade and capitalize on that, is great. So you're giving people and players the power to create their own economies, within a game.
Yeah.
And we've seen that before, with like RuneScape, gold. People were actually trying to buy gold, outside of RuneScape, and transfer it that way because it had an understood and assigned value.
Yeah.
So this is sort of like the next generation of that kind of thought process. So it'll be definitely interesting to see when these games start rolling out how the in-game economies work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy about it.
Yeah, and in order to make those in-game economies work, they need users. So if any of this
Yeah.
stuff is interesting to you, definitely hop on. A lot of dApps, they hover around the 300 to 500 user mark and never kind of
Mhm.
really get over that. So if any of these things are interesting, you could be in at the ground level. That gives certain
Yeah.
benefits and advantages. Companies will give you more just for signing up earlier.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I know, there have been games that I've played where, I try to get in as early as possible to sort of reap those benefits of being, like a day one supporter, early adopter
Yeah.
sort of thing. And, getting those bonus items, if they are offered,
Mm-hmm.
because those help out in the long run. They tend to be slightly stronger than the stuff that you normally encounter
Yeah.
in normal gameplay. But, yeah, I'm very anxious to see. I'd like to play more Cryptic Conjure once it's done. I know Decimated won't be out for another year and a half, and at some point in 2020. Gods Unchained, still working on that, and now this one, Nine Lives. So
Yeah.
lots of games on the docket to keep an eye on.
I do really like. We need to have. We need to get some broadcast from mobile because I think that what is it? Spells of
Spells of Genesis, yeah,
of Genesis. We've been both been playing that,
playing the hell out
and
of it.
it's mobile and it's on blockchain. It's very difficult to get blockchain cards. Actually, it turns out, but
Yeah, but
the-
the grind makes it worth it.
yeah, and it's a very rewarding kind of style of mobile game. They do
Mhm.
have stamina, but it's you get enough done to where you feel like you're not just
Yeah,
using it all up in one go.
and thankfully, which has been one of the reasons why I've continued playing Spells of Genesis, is that the stamina recharge isn't some absurd number where you have to wait, an hour to get one stamina point back.
Yeah.
It tends to be in the general ballpark of a couple minutes
Oh yeah.
to regenerate a stamina point. So you can go ahead and grind out, however many stamina points you have. Put your phone down, wait an hour or two, and then boom, right back into it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And well, we did just want to briefly mention, of course, our very just talented and amazing friend and partner, Bork Chain Inc.
Yes, the Borkchain Inc. Some of you may already know in our Discord channel, he is aptly named the CEO of Doge. He should be. So Jackson Palmer and all you guys, go ahead and put his number in your phone. Trying to help you out here, JR. But yeah, this is Borkchain Inc. He is a meme, crypto meme t-shirt designer. That is exactly where I got this awesome Carlos Matos endorsed t-shirt.
Just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Carlos Matos, the
what's up
guy
yeah,
from
the face of
YouTube
BitConnect. Or the perceived face of BitConnect.
Yeah, and one of our internal chats, my avatar is actually him yelling into the mic.
Yes, it is. But JR was nice enough and confident in what we offered, and we struck a partnership, and we ended up with this awesome shirt.
Yeah.
So definitely go over to Borkchain Inc.'s website at borkchain.com. Check out all the t-shirts they've got.
Yeah.
He's constantly adding new ones. He recently added 2 or 3 new ones up at the top. The Dogecoin on the rocket going to the moon there.
Yeah. Yeah, Snoop Doge was on there.
I think it may have moved.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be on here anymore.
Well, there's more than one page.
Yeah,
there's 3 pages yet.
Page 2. Oh, the V.
The VE chain, yeah. So nice little nod to V for Vendetta there. Anybody who's seen that knows that the main character is very fond of alliteration, especially with V words. And in terms of decentralization, I think that is a great sort of nod. The only
what is it? Verdict is vengeance.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I can assure you I mean you no harm.
Who are you?
Who?
Do we have
Who
to
is
stop
but
on you again?
following the function of
Yeah,
light and
it's
water
registering.
and is a man in a mask.
Oh, I can see that.
Of course you can. I'm not questioning your powers of observation. I'm merely remarking upon the paradox of asking a masked man who he is.
Oh, right.
But on this most auspicious of nights, permit me then, in lieu of the more commonplace sobriquet, to suggest the character of this dramatis persona. Voila! In view, a humble vaudevillian veteran, cast vicariously as both victim and villain by the vicissitudes of fate. This visage, no mere veneer of vanity, is a vestige of the vox populi, now vacant, vanished. However, this valorous visitation of a bygone vexation stands vivified, and has vowed to vanquish these venal and virulent vermin, vanguarding vice and vouchsafing the violently vicious and voracious violation of volition.
Yeah.
The only verdict is vengeance, a vendetta, held as a votive not in vain, for the value and veracity of such shall one day vindicate the vigilant and the virtuous. Verily, this vichyssoise of verbiage veers most verbose, so let me simply add that it's my very good honor to meet you, and you may call me V.
Are you like a crazy person?
I'm quite sure they will say so. But to whom might I ask am I speaking?
I'm Evie.
Evie? Evie. Of course you are.
What does that mean?
It means that I, like God, do not play with dice and do not believe in coincidence. Are you hurt?
No, I'm fine. Thanks to you.
Oh, I merely played my part. But tell me, do you enjoy music, Evie?
I suppose.
All right.
So yeah, that being the monologue that you'll find on the VE Chain shirt over at Borkchain.
Yeah.
Very great nod to decentralization there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's just one of the many new products that he puts out. Not sure what happened to the Snoop Doge hoodie. I was
Yeah.
really loving that one.
Yeah, we're going
Maybe
to
some editing issues there.
yeah, we're going to reach out and get an update on that one. It's on my list as well. So we did want to just thank you guys for tuning in and being a part of the stream. For all
Yeah,
those new folks coming in, just asking questions, participating in the chat, and even just kind of listening and being here, dropping follows, even if it's when we're offline. All of it really
yeah.
helps, and we
And
appreciate
actually,
it.
if you would just click over to the live screen there, we did get some new followers that I'd love to shout out that we
Yeah.
haven't gotten around to yet. So, I think we just got one during the stream here. So, Jim VX, thank you so much for following. Coin Frog following us yesterday. Pito Bruh, Ash Not X, Russell Doge. I know where you are. You're in our Discord.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for that. Master Kush, 1991, 420 Blaze It. And Kryptonite Chick. Oh, yeah, we got you the other day, or last week.
Yeah, exactly. So we got basically everything caught up. Thank you for all the followers, and it really helps us and motivates us to push on and keep diving into crypto.
Absolutely.
So, but we'll be bringing some stuff next week for you. That's pretty exciting. I'm going to be showing off my Blockchain shirt that I got as well.
Yeah.
So I got a cool one. It kind of mirrors how I'm feeling internally right now. So you'll love it. Just lots of cringe and a little bit of meme. And then on top of that, we've got some demos coming your way. We want to get some demos either of what was the Spells game?
Spells of Genesis.
Either Spells of Genesis, or we can look at doing a demo of what's it called? Of 9 Lives. So we can get a demo of either one of those for mobile. We can do like a little mini Twitch broadcast from mobile or something.
Yeah. Maybe I might even try and reach out to the developers over there at 9 Lives, and maybe we might be able to come up with some sort of agreement. Once they have a working demo released, we'd love to show people what it's all about and extol its virtues. Hopefully.
Yeah. Really dive in, give it a test, give it some publicity, give it some word of mouth. Very organic.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
that's something that the crypto space needs more of. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. Let's all help each other out. Which is how we sort of landed with Blockchain Inc. There was no $1 million partnership struck there or anything. It was very much, we like what you got and you like what we've got, so let's wade through the muck together that is the crypto space and help each other out.
Yep. All right. Well, we will continue on the conversation and the discussion of what's going on in our Discord.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, just shoot us a message in chat if you're interested in an invite there.
Yep. I'm actually thinking about setting up a new sort of section within our Discord, sort of like a stream category. We would love to hear more about the topics that you want to hear about. So definitely view that one sub channel as sort of like a suggestion box.
Yeah.
For stuff that you'd like to learn about, stuff that you'd like us to hear or like to hear us talk about. We're definitely open to all suggestions. And I'm also going to put in a sort of like post-stream discussion sub-channel there where people can drop their thoughts, questions, comments, concerns that they had about the content in the stream there.
Yep.
So we definitely look forward to hearing more of your feedback on that.
Yeah.
Be blunt, be honest. Call me an asshole. I don't care. I want to hear from you guys.
Exactly. So we'll be checking that feedback and trying to work it in. And so that'll wrap it up for us. Just hit up the Discord and
we'll be there.
Or social media on Twitter at @real_block talk, or you can catch the VODs if you need to come back in and watch. You can do so on YouTube or on our Facebook page, and those VODs will be up later today.
Yep. We usually have those up and online within a couple hours after the broadcast. So just view at your leisure if needed. But, as always, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We couldn't do it without you guys. You're the reason we keep doing this.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I think I speak for both of us when we say, we owe our undying gratitude to you guys for like you said earlier, helping us, keep pushing through. Let's do it together.
That's right. That's right. So, and that will bring us to the end for the week, and we will see you guys next Tuesday afternoon. Tune in again for some more Block Talk. As always,
Absolutely.
Crypto Nikolai and the Crypto Foxtrot.
And BitConnect.
Get wrecked. All right.
Have a great weekend, guys.
You make me feel like home. You turn around, I feel the breeze over me. You watch your dreams unfold. Let it come around and let it breathe over me. It's time to go away into the light. I feel the calming energy. I see the darkness coming, and I'm calling you to help me set me free. I'm calling for you. I'm calling for you. I'm calling for you. Lie all the faith of the world in your plans, guarding your faith with the palm of your hands. I know, yeah, I know. It's the unknown, the unknown. It's time to go away into the light. I feel the calming energy. I see the darkness coming, and I'm calling you to help me set me free. I'm calling for you. I'm calling.